All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We're tearing down those outdated power dynamics and looking at how to build a pristine, modern architecture of psychological stealth. Look, if you've ever felt like your hard work goes totally unrecognized, or that the traditional rules of corporate success they just don't add up anymore, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating content strategy that completely deconstructs how we think about leverage and, really, survival in the modern workplace.
You probably think your relentless grinding is the ultimate security for your career, right? Well, let's ask a really uncomfortable question. I mean, we've all been taught the standard formula. Put your head down, outwork literally everyone in the room, and successful just naturally follow. But the source material we're analyzing today flips that completely upside down. It actually argues that this mindset is not just flawed, it's actively dangerous to your professional survival.
And this brilliantly illustrates the fatal flaw in our logic. Overt ambition in the modern workplace, it's actually a massive security vulnerability. When you come into a system and display this raw, unfiltered drive, you aren't signaling that you're a team player. You're signaling a threat. In today's corporate landscape, broadcasting your moves so loudly is literally the quickest way to guarantee your own downfall.
So to understand how to actually navigate this, we have to stop looking at, 17th century French courtiers for advice. The source text identifies this fascinating concept called a memory leak. This happens when we try to apply ancient historical grandstanding to a modern corporate office. It basically creates a performance bottleneck in our own execution. Modern professionals just don't relate to Byzantine emperors. It feels so completely irrelevant to your daily survival that your brain just tunes it out. So we absolutely must pivot from that historical grandstanding to the calculated, sleek architecture of modern power. Old power was overt manipulation. It was obvious, it was loud, and frankly, it was incredibly easy to detect. Modern power, though, operates on what the source calls midnight Navy logic. It's all about psychological stealth. We're talking about the sophisticated, quiet maneuvering of today's corporate executives who understand that true power is never fully visible until it's way too late to challenge it.
Which brings us to Law 1, the competence trap, or the corporate innovator's dilemma. Let's see how this plays out.
This entirely recontextualizes the classic rule of never outshine the master, but drops it directly into the open plan office where you sit every single day. Welcome to the most dangerous mistake smart people make. You come into a new system, you innovate, you grind, and you solve problems your boss just couldn't figure out. You genuinely think you're proving your worth, right? Securing your spot. But raw brilliance actually triggers executive insecurity. Instead of a promotion, you are painting a massive, glowing target right on your own back. Just look at this split dynamic. On one side, there's you, grinding away, displaying unfiltered brilliance. And on the other side, there's your boss, sweating, looking paranoid, and feeling deeply threatened. When you outshine the master today, you do not inspire admiration in your superiors. You just make them feel obsolete. And a threatened superior is hands down the most dangerous variable in your career equation. Because a threatened boss won't promote you. Instead, they'll execute these exact maneuvers to neutralize you and protect their own system. And they won't confront you directly either. They will quietly isolate you from important meetings. They'll systematically steal your data and present your ideas as their own. And ultimately, you're going to be replaced by someone who is entirely mediocre, but who feels entirely safe to their ego. So here is the architectural solution to camouflage your threat level. You absolutely must use this exact sequence. If you are smarter than your boss, play dumb. I know, it sounds crazy, but pass your best ideas directly through them so they can take the stage. Let them look like the absolute genius who hired you. You aren't submitting here. Actually, scratch that. You are strategically fading into the background until you have the immense leverage required to just take their seat when the time is right.
Okay, shifting gears now to Law 2, the co-founder dilemma. Let's talk about the illusion of loyalty in the startup environment.
Moving from the corporate ladder to the treacherous, high-stakes world of building your own company from the ground up, this totally challenges everything we want to believe about loyalty. I mean, we all love the idea of building an empire with our closest friends, right? But remember, power requires absolute clarity, not sentiment. The source material lays down a really brutal truth here. Hiring your best friend is a critical error. You think you know them, but you only really know the sanitized, agreeable version of them that exists in low-stakes social settings. When you bring a friend into your highly pressurized system, you introduce these severe emotional liabilities, which the source brilliantly calls the poison of entitlement.
They naturally expect leniency because of your shared history. They often secretly resent your new authority over them. This leads to, well, inevitable underperformance. And when you finally have to address it, firing them isn't just a tough business decision. It becomes this toxic emotional nightmare that can destroy both the company and the friendship.
You can really easily see the clash between these two paradigms. A friend expects favors and clouds your critical judgment. But look at the alternative, hiring an enemy. Your fiercest market rival is actually an untapped gold mine. It seems entirely counterintuitive, I know, but the logic here is razor sharp. You are basically swapping out a massive emotional liability for a calculated, highly strategic asset.
Think about it. A former enemy you've given a second chance to expects absolutely nothing from you. And because of that dynamic, they will work with terrifying efficiency. They have everything to prove, to you, to the market, and to themselves. A friend? They might stab you in the back for a quick promotion because they feel entitled to it. But an enemy who owes you their professional resurrection, they will literally take a bullet for you.
Your business is not a country club. It's a war room, and you absolutely must structure your team accordingly if you want to maintain security and dominance. You have to hire strictly for competence above all else. You've got to actively distance yourself from emotional liabilities that cloud your decision-making. And most powerfully, you need to learn how to weaponize your critics, turning their drive and their need to prove themselves into high-octane fuel for your own system.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to help you analyze your own surroundings. Take a hard look at your career, your startup, your team. Which architecture are you currently building? Are you relying on outdated notions of overt hard work and emotional loyalty, basically building a vulnerable country club? Or are you ready to embrace psychological stealth and architect a truly secure system of modern power? The choice of how you build from here, well, that's entirely up to you.